Hi! So, Black Friday today. The day that we typically spend a bit more money to grab all those deals, right? Well, the plugin that I'm going to talk to you about in this video is not going to cost you a dime, because it's actually free for the Black Friday weekend. It's a new plugin by Waves called IDX Dynamics, and it's a pretty nice one. So let's go! Now, Waves IDX Dynamics is a frequency-dependent compressor that automatically attenuates excess energy in the track. That's what their manual says. And that sounds good, right? Well, they do have a point, of course. When you record a track, an instrument, a vocal, whatever, you typically record the full spectrum of that instrument. And when you solo the recording, that sounds fine. But when you put all of the separate tracks into a mix, they fight and clash, and certain frequency areas clog up and don't sound very nice at all. Now, what this plugin is supposed to do is identify the excess energy in every track in an intelligent way and get rid of it so that you have a better starting point for your mix. And it does not do this in a static set and forget it way, but it's a dynamic process, so it continuously listens to frequencies in your track and attenuates the frequencies that are not needed, cause excess energy in that track. So let's check out in Cubase what that looks and sounds like. So this is the plugin, IDX Dynamics, and let's first listen to what kind of track I'm putting this on. It's basically a drum recording. So you can consider this plugin being on the drum bus now. So let's have a look at the controls. I'll play the audio, but you won't hear it, so that it's not drowning out my voice. As you can see at the bottom here, you're basically looking at the frequencies that are happening in the source track at the moment. And if you pull up on this big button over here, you're basically lowering the threshold of the compressor, causing compression to happen. But as you can see, it's frequency dependent. Some frequencies are compressed more than others, being the excess energy that IDX identifies in the track. So it's a very simple process with only a few controls. The speed is basically a combination of attack and release controls of the compressor. You see that the compression is happening much faster now because the attack and release times are short. And if I increase this, you can see that the compression is really slow because the attack time and the release times are very long. In general, this is a nice good start value. You also have the hard and soft button here, which is the knee of the compressor. So hard means that there's really only compression happening when the signal is above the threshold. So as you notice, we're not seeing any compression anymore, and we really have to lower the level a lot before any compression is happening again. And it's much more spotty. Now, soft on the other hand means that there's already compression happening when the signal gets nearer to the threshold. And as it's getting closer to the threshold, more and more compression is happening. Now, as you can see, there's also a line in the middle. And you can tilt that line with this control over here, so that more compression is happening on the high end now. And if I tilt the line the other way, more compression is happening on the low end. Let's put it back in the middle, because at the bottom you're seeing your input level and output level meters, and you can see over here that input level is a bit higher than the output level. So it's causing the level to decrease at the moment, probably due to the compression that's happening, even though the auto gain over here is enabled. But there's also a quick match button that you can use here to automatically compensate with the output gain control. So if I push that, you can see that the output gain went up slightly, and now input and output levels are more matched. And finally, there's a mix control so that you can mix in the original with the compressed signal. So after this explanation, let's actually have a listen to the audio, because that's what it's all about, right? Let's start at 0. Yeah, to me it does sound like this plugin is actually cleaning up the audio a bit, definitely compressing it as well, of course. It gets more punchy, more forward and less mid-heavy. Let's compare it, starting without IDX Dynamics. Now, I also discovered a feature in this plugin which is not actually mentioned in the manual. Maybe they still need to add it because I'm checking this out as an early access release. Or maybe they're going to remove it in the final release, I don't know. I just want to demo it, and I asked Waves about this, and if I get a reply before I publish this video, I'll put it down in big letters over here. Well, let's check out this feature while it's in here. Because as you can see, there's also a single note over here that you can use to shape that line, which seems like the frequency dependent threshold. And you may notice that if I pull this down, then it actually causes this frequency range to be compressed more or less. Let's have a listen. So quite a nice feature. I hope they leave it in. So let's now check out this new compressor against some other compressors on these drums and on various other instruments. Now this is a project that I used recently to compare Fairchild compressors. So let's actually check the sound of this plugin versus the Fairchild compressor plugins that are in here. So let's first dial in IDX Dynamics again. Pretty punchy, and let's compare it to some other Fairchild compressors. So it's kind of a different sound, but at the same time can hold its own to these plugins, even their own Waves Puke Child compressor. Let's do the same thing on an acoustic guitar track. Yeah, so it has the same effect as on the drums. It makes the guitar track less muddy and a bit more sparkly and shiny and more compressed, of course. So let's compare it to some of the other compressors that happen to be in this project. Okay, let's check it out on the vocal. And let's dial it in first.
The way you talk to me is killing me softly, but I don't mind, 'cause it makes me feel alive. The way you talk.
Before and after.
The way you talk to me is killing me softly, but I don't mind, 'cause it makes me feel alive.
Yeah, less mud, more sparkle and shine. Let's see how it sounds compared to some of the other compressors.
The way you talk to me is killing me softly, but I don't mind, 'cause it makes me feel alive. The way you talk to me is killing me softly, but I don't mind.
It definitely cleans up the vocal more, probably more fitting for a contemporary vocal sound. So let's also check out what it can do on a full mix. But before we take a further look, if you like this video or find it useful at all, please give it a big thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm so that it gets shown to more people. Subscribe to the channel and ring the little bell icon if you want to get notified when I publish another video. For even more support to the channel, you can use the super thanks button below the video, or if you intend on buying anything at one of these stores, I have many affiliate links in the description. If you click one of those before buying at that store, I will get a small commission on whatever you buy without any additional cost to you, which is highly appreciated. And of course, there's also an affiliate link to the Waves plugin store if you want to get one of their plugins at a discount on this Black Friday. But let's get back to Waves IDX Dynamics. Now this is a live recording of my band Wash. Let's check it out first before putting the IDX Dynamics plugin on there.
I can live two lives if I would. No, it satisfies more. Do one thing good.
And let's put the IDX Dynamics plugin on there. And let's gradually lower the level.
I can live two lives if I would. No, it satisfies more. Do one thing good. You're the better of me. Oh, I want the key. I turn the lock. I can break through.
Yeah, I think it definitely also cleans up this full mix, makes it a bit less mid-heavy, and brings out some of the sparkle and shine. Now initially when I tried out this new plugin, listened to its sounds, checked out its functionality, I thought it was kind of a simplified version of the Waves Curves Equator that I recently also made a video about, because it kind of does a similar thing, frequency dependent compression based on a threshold that you bring down. I also have that plugin on this mix. Let's have a look. Now this plugin has many more features of course, but there's also a threshold which is shaped according to the frequency distribution in this track, and then you can also bring down this threshold. Let's have a listen to that.
I can live two lives if I would. No, it satisfies more to do one thing good.
Now many more controls of course, and there's also a sidechain on this plugin which you can use for all kinds of nice stuff. But conceptually it seems very similar to me. Now I did ask Waves about this, but they mentioned that this plugin is not based on the same technology as the Curves Equator, but they are moving more towards plugins which tend to analyze a track and then act upon it according to that analysis. And that's of course the case for both of these plugins. So let me know what you think in the comments. Did you try it already? How do you like it? Did it work for you? I'd really like to know. And of course remember, this plugin is free for the Black Friday weekend, so make sure to pick it up quickly so you can start using it in your tracks if you find it useful. Now as I just mentioned, I also recently did a video on the Waves Curves Equator plugin. I'll leave the link in the description below. And if you want to know what my 5 favorite Waves plugins are, you can check it out in this video. Enjoy and see you soon.